Cowboy fans and YouTubers? It's another episode of the Virginia Cowboys fan show. It's another loss for the Cowboys today. Well, yesterday. And it's embarrassing. But, you know, at least we're embarrassing in all phases. The offense was inept until the second half. The defense couldn't stop anybody from running. Our special teams either gets penalties or they can't kick. And the coaching was putrid. Even the referees were horrible. I mean, who throws a flag on the freaking coach because he used a cuss word? Are you serious? I'd really like the NFL to explain that one to me. Because I'm sure these referees heard worse before, and you flag our coach only? Come on. But, whatever. Everybody who saw the game knows what happened. They have their opinions. They saw what they saw. Haters will come out, and only diehard Cowboys fans will stay. It's one game. What do I say in every video? It's one game at a time. That just happened to be another game. So now we got to turn it around. Beat the Jets, hopefully. Because, excuse me, they should hopefully beat the Jets, but trying to put trust in this team right now is up and down this season. Kind of like our schedule. For anybody who hasn't noticed, I'm getting kind of sick and tired of the NFL screwing up our schedules. Either we have late buys and we have like half the team hurt by the time we get to the bye, or you get something like this year where it's home away, home away, home away all freaking season. Like, it would have hurt the NFL to have 2 home games for the Cowboys this year. It's ridiculous. But, you know, you got the Redskins who fired Jay Gruden finally. I'm sure they're happy. You got the Eagles who are salivating to play us, even though they've beaten basically nobody's except for Aaron Rodgers one freaking time. And the Giants who come back down to earth after Daniel Jones has blown one. That's the state of the NFC East. You got Patriots fans who like to talk smack, but they haven't exactly beaten anybody this year yet either. But they're going to go on and say they're the best in the world. It is what it is. Chiefs fans, let's talk about the Chiefs. They lost. You don't hear that being talked about anywhere, do you? You never hear about Patrick Mahomes can't win a game. Oh, my Lord. You got teams that actually lost other than the Cowboys? Oh, it's a miracle. But that's the only one they'll talk about, and yet we're being told by every hater in the world that we are not America's team. Please. You know the Cowboys are ratings, and you love to talk about us. You can't not talk about us when you talk about football. Get out of here. Injuries, you got like Mason Rudolph with the Steelers. I'd say he was carted off the field, but Pittsburgh didn't have a working medical cart. So he had to be walked off the field, which was probably worse. I'm sure those guys are scrambling right now to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback, because they're on a sinking ship at 1-4 right now, too. I mean, just trying to get over our loss is crazy. We blew the Saints game by being too conservative and going back to a Linehan offense. And I'm really starting to think, when you look at the whole picture of things, that Kellen Moore is a good offensive coordinator, but he can't do the script in the beginning of the game. It just baffles him that he cannot script the beginning of a game. But when he sees defenses and can read them and adjust after halftime, he's on fire. It's just you can't start the game without trying to come from behind all the time, especially against good teams. It doesn't matter what you do after half. If you're down 24-3 or something, it's kind of hard to get back in the game, you know. But Jason Garrett is still our head coach for now. I'm pretty sure that anybody who's a fan has figured out that guy and his offensive and defense, his whole scheme of ball just doesn't work. I mean, we're using the same playbook he came into the league with in what, 2007? Come on. You haven't changed with the times yet, dude, and all you have is Bill Callahan and Scott Linehan and Kellen Moore running the same offense that you ran. Like, nobody's figured that out by now. All you do is disguise it a little different every time to try and get people to not figure it out. It's the same basic stuff. It just doesn't make sense. We got our best linebacking duo missing open field tackles, which doesn't make sense. You got the kicker, who still amazingly has a freaking job when he can't even hit a goddamn extra point, basically field goal, and he shanks that one. I can understand the 53-yarder. That's a bit of a distance, but he should be able to nail that if he was a real good kicker. And I'm getting sick of that being a bad aspect of it. If not, the punt and kick returns. Every time we seem to take the ball and run it a good distance, there's always a flag that magically appears. Amazing how that works. I mean, my God, there are so many red challenge flags that should have been thrown this game. It's ridiculous. I mean, you're literally watching Gallup getting his head slapped around by a defender and nobody's calling a thing. You don't call early in the game Dak Prescott getting a hand to the helmet when he's getting sacked, but you call it near the end of the game. So obviously it's the referees, and I'm getting sick and tired of the so-called human error aspect, because the referees, I understand, they're human, they make mistakes. But isn't the whole replay system in New York and everything supposed to make sure that these plays are called correctly? And they're never done. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I understand you don't want to stop every single play or give the coaches every single aspect of challenging, but it's getting ridiculous when you see blatant calls and you're looking at a referee on screen looking right at a play and they don't call something so obvious. But then later in the game, they'll throw a ticky-tack one on either team, and both fans are now upset because you can't figure out what the hell is going on. I don't know what pass interference is anymore, just like I didn't know what a catch was. It's starting to be ridiculous. I mean, you paying these refs God knows how much money to be around, but they can't seem to figure out their own freaking rules. And y'all huddle together to try and get it right, but y'all still get calls wrong. It makes no sense. But let me get off the referees. They're human. They got jobs other than refereeing. You know, they trying to do their best. I get it. But sometimes it's just something's right in front of your eyes and you completely miss it. And that's starting to be ridiculous league-wide. The NFL really needs to figure out something. I understand you got rules and letter of the law, but the letter of the law needs to be open to interpretation a lot of times. Y'all can't just go straight from the book, because a lot of plays is not straight from the book. I mean, I'll give Green Bay one. Where I understand Aaron Rodgers, he likes to see, you know, players swapping out on defense, and he likes to hike the ball quick and get a free play. Well, he got caught last night doing that because he tried to hike the ball so quick, he didn't see the ref was standing right there by the center trying to drop the ball in place. And he just basically took it right out of his hands and hiked the ball. I mean, when have you ever seen that? These are just stuff that you don't see, and it's just weird. The season's weird. Teams that are supposed to be winning are not winning unless you're the Patriots. They're the only unbeaten team left. And teams that suck, like the Buffalo Bills, are winning. I mean, some teams are the same old, but it's just a weird year for NFL. And I can't really say that I'd quit the NFL and go to the NBA, because I saw the NBA today decided to worry more about money than about the freedom of speech. When you have a GM in the NBA actually support the Chinese supporters, and just because the Chinese, Lord, the Chinese government get mad at you and say they're going to stop doing dealings with you because one GM supported the protesters for democracy and y'all backed out and tried to tell that GM to apologize. Really? So freedom of speech and democracy only works in America, not worldwide. And you're trying to make your sport global. Really? So basically, you don't care about democracy. You just want that paycheck. But that's the world we live in. Green is greed. Money is power. Shouldn't expect anything else, right? But it's just a lot to compartmentalize with that game. It's over. I'm ready to move on to the Jets. Hopefully get a win. Philly, we'll see them in 2 weeks. Win, lose, or draw. That's going to be the first step in determining who's taking the NFC East crown this year. And the way it looks, probably a wild card spot, if not better. But that's all I got for now. We'll see if any other news comes down the pipeline. Any other coaches fired? Any other players suspended? Any other players really hurt? Oh, speaking of, La'el Collins. He went down. He has a sprained MCL. We don't know if it's a severe one or a normal one. But when both your starting tackles leave the game, yes, I expect Dak Prescott to get killed, and he did. So don't everybody get all rah-rah hyped up with Green Bay beating us since we have hurt players, but y'all don't want to hear about that. Y'all never want to hear about how injured players are an excuse. I mean, y'all tried to use that if y'all lost and didn't have Devontae Adams. But that's neither here nor there. It's only one way when it's talking about the Cowboys, right? But thankfully, no other major hiccups, no other major injuries or anything. Guys got nicked up as excuse me, as you would assume. They just got to do better. Plain and simple. They just have to play better. Garrett tries to get these guys up, and for his credit, he does get these guys up to play, but that's all he can do. Basically, I'd hire him just as a motivational speaker, because that apparently is all he can do. He can't coach. To put it plain and simple, he can't coach. But now, I'm at a store with my son. That's all I got for today. Want to tell the people bye, buddy? Say bye-bye, YouTube. Haha. All right. VA Dallas Cowboys fan, peace.